because it kind of brings up a little concept of the way we have kind of morphed, taking back 2010 West Winds for 2010. You know, this is a week, it's just amazing to me that on Easter week, the President of the United States, on foreign soil, says America's not a Christian nation. You know, that's just astounding to me. And of course, he also bowed down to a king, and which is pretty astounding to me also. Both of things which he does not understand. Those are not the American way. Now, we do it, I think, and I'm going to tell you more about this in just a minute, but I think that actually Buncombe County and Asheville has, I mentioned this to Don earlier, you know, y'all have kind of a unique situation here right now. Because this is probably the first time since I've watched Asheville politics that I honestly believe that by 2010, you and the long-haired hippie freaks downtown are going to have something in common. And that is that you both want freedom. And you know, they're going to see that the Obama administration is taking away freedoms. Now that's something that while they may, if they do think, and they do occasionally, I guess, usually when Acorn tells them to, but anyway, if they do think, then they will understand that, you know, they're giving up the same freedoms that we're giving up. And not only that, as we have less opportunity to make money, they have less opportunity to take away from us when we walk down the street. You know? But, I mean, you know, westwinds.org is what we are. www. And there's no D in West Winds. It's West Winds as in victories for the West. We believe that North Carolina has to understand our Republican Party has to understand that the base of the Republican Party in this state is west of I-77. That is the truth. That's where we are. We've been Republicans a long time. Not necessarily proud of it, but you know, a lot of West North Carolinians fought on Abe Lincoln's side of that war back in the 1860s, you know.
My great-granddaddy.
and you know, that's not something we brag about necessarily today, but that shows us how deep our Republican roots are in western North Carolina. We want to take back a number of things, and this actually can be more than just western North Carolina. We want to take back the country. We want to take the country back to the principles of the Republican Party, which are the principles of our founding fathers. And those principles include the fact, and this is the Easter weekend thing, we are a Christian nation. Whether Barack Obama believes it or not, we are. And you know, even in toughest times, even in situations where I would have thought we are a morally bankrupt country, and I think we are to a great extent, you know, I once heard somebody say, you know, but our basic roots still are Christian, even among the weakest of us, and point out that, you know, in this country, you still go to church to be baptized, you go to church to get married, you go to church when you die. And he said, you know, that tells us something about our basic background in this country. That when you look at the biggest steps in your life, they still take place in church in this country. And that does tell us that we may not be very faithful, but we at least know where the faith ought to be, probably. I want to give you just a little encouragement about what's going to happen in 2010-2012. The U.S. Census comes up in 2010. We all know that. Now, what's going to happen with the census? It does not matter. If Barack Obama and his right-hand man are trying to control it every way they can, and they are, but you know what's not going to matter? It may matter a little bit, but you know, we know that red states are picking up congressmen. We know that Texas is going to get 4 probably new seats after the 2010 Senate. We also know that Georgia, South Carolina, and Utah are likely to pick up seats. And there's a possibility North Carolina will pick up one. Not likely, but there's a possibility. Also some states that sometimes vote Republican, like Florida. Where are these states, where are these people coming from? California may lose a seat. Ohio is going to be the big loser. Pennsylvania's going to lose. New Jersey's going to lose. New York. You know, the blue states are losing representatives. The red states are picking up representatives. The reality is that, now that's for the 2012 election, of course, is before that will actually go into effect. But nevertheless, the future's bright, y'all. No matter what anybody says, people are moving here. And we're going to have more power than we've had in the past in these particular states. Y'all, we've made that history. You're no longer going to have that wave of people saying, we're going to make history by electing the first African-American president. It's done. That argument's over. You know, we've already done that. Now we're going to be judging to see how that person, not that African-American, but how that person governs. And how Congress governs when it's a United Democratic Congress and Socialist Democratic President. And that's what we're going to be judging from now on. We're not going to be judging the first, can we elect an African American? We did. Done. But they did. I can tell you, it's really tough to defend mistakes that Congress makes, even if you did not support those mistakes when you're in the majority. It's a really hard thing to do. It is going to be very difficult for the Democratic Party. It's going to be hard for Heath Shuler to carry his blue dog flag around when Nancy Pelosi's saying, let's blow North Carolina off the map. I mean, you know, that's what's happening, and it's going to happen more and more that way. People are going to see it more and more. You know, people are going to learn some things. If you lived in Henderson County, you would know what it's like living in a county where it is controlled by rhinos. I mean, you know, something I will say very, very good about Asheville and Buncombe County Republicans. Y'all are Republicans. The ones who are Republicans in this county are Republicans. You know, to be a Republican in this environment, you got to believe it. In Henderson County, you're a Republican because you want to go away. And as I sit back and look at it, I've observed Buncombe County politics for a long time now, I can tell you that I know that the Buncombe County Republicans are real Republicans. And you know, that's something else I'll say about you guys. Y'all work, the Republicans here work some in Henderson County. They sit back on our butts and don't do anything and throw a few dollars at newspaper ads and silly stuff and don't work because it's such a majority over there. Y'all work, but we have to work hard. We have to work throughout the district, throughout the state, and throughout the country. We have to work within the party, within groups like this and the Action Club and other organizations that are not necessarily under the Republican umbrella, but are mostly Republican, and people that believe in the same cause. The Tea Party is a great example of that. Yeah, you know, it is not a Republican event, but you know they're going to think the way we do. And finally, we have to take advantage of the media. Now that's where I'm leaving Clifton out here. We have to take advantage of the media because the media is a tool that the Democrats have beat us to death with. And the way they've done it is they have controlled the media by being the media, one, and two, by influencing the media by being loud. Y'all know, we own talk radio. I mean, the Republican Party, the people that think the way Republicans do, control talk radio. But we don't say it loud enough. You know, we actually need to be more organized, and we need to be able to do what idiots have done, like move on, not our. Something I can't say. Move like that.
Make his mouth silver.
Right, like that group. You know, they have done a very, I can tell you, they flood congressional offices with phone calls. You know, something we would just instantly know move-on's behind this, because we get 50 calls in one day saying, "Oh, we think there ought to be a pink stripe on the American flag," or some stupid something, you know. And they never said that. But you know, it would be they probably want rainbows on it. But anyway, the reality is that they have done a good job with that sort of thing, and we need to take a page out of their book. You know what? We need to be telling people what we stand for. We need to be telling people what George Washington said, what John Adams said, what the Mayflower Compact says.